OnePlus has made a name for themselves with low-price, high-spec Android handsets. With their fourth outing, the OnePlus 3, they've upped the price, but have they upped their game as well? I'm Jason with Maslin Tech, and here's my review of the OnePlus 3. Starting with the packaging, there's very clear attention to detail. The unboxing was a very Apple-like experience. Under the phone itself is the paperwork and a SIM tool, and the power adapter and USB-C cable below that. The cable has thick shielding and the power brick is rather large. They both feel sturdy and substantial, plus the red and white colors will make them easy to keep up with. The charger is so large because it has a trick up its sleeve. OnePlus calls it the dash charger. Throwing the phone on the charger will get you up to 60% back in about 30 minutes. I found that I'd throw the phone on the charger for 5 minutes here and there, and walk away with another 30 minutes plus of use. Taking a closer look at the phone itself, the construction of the phone is a darker gray aluminum unibody structure. The rear of the phone is pleasantly minimal, with the 16 megapixel rear camera and flash, as well as the OnePlus logo. The sides contain your standard power and volume buttons, a dual SIM tray, and a 3-position notification switch. Moving to the front of the camera, we've got a 1080p 5.5-inch AMOLED display, flanked by an 8 megapixel front camera and capacitive buttons with an integrated fingerprint reader. The fingerprint reader is top of the game. Touch ID on the iPhone doesn't like my fingers, but the OnePlus 3 worked consistently and quickly. The fingerprint reader doubles as the Android home button. It's capacitive, so no physical click here. The back and recent buttons are hidden, with a single white dot indicating they're there when you press one of them. If you are more of a fan of the on-screen buttons, you can disable the hardware buttons. I found this useful when playing games or holding the phone by the bezel in landscape. Most of the button functions can be changed in settings, and Oxygen OS has some pretty cool gestures when the screen is off. Oxygen OS is the skin the OnePlus 3 uses installed on top of Android 6.0. I really liked a lot about the skin, but mostly because of how subtle and unobtrusive it was with stock Android. I never ran into vendor apps fighting to be default over stock Android apps, and most of the operating system's features can be outright disabled or uninstalled. For the sake of the review, I kept the phone close to the way it shipped. So up to this point, the phone has been perfect to me. Where are the flaws at? First up, some people will say that 1080p on a 5.5-inch screen is low res for 2016. That's still north of 400 pixels per inch, so I have no issue with the resolution. I did, however, find the color reproduction and viewing angles to struggle. Colors, for me, were overly bright, especially reds, and the screen had a blue-green tint at angles, similar to other OLED panels, but worse than modern AMOLED screens. The display is also a pentile panel. Before I knew that, I did notice an odd speckled look to the text that I didn't see on my 6S Plus, which has the same size and screen resolution. It also doesn't help that the pre-installed screen protector isn't even covering the full display. I'm not a very big fan of screen protectors, so this came off eventually. While the panel doesn't compete with other modern $600 plus handsets, you get your money's worth from a $400 phone. My only other real complaint with the phone comes with the camera. This is a prime example that there are more factors to photography than just megapixels. At 16 megapixels, the rear camera has the capacity to capture a lot of detail, but normally colors get oversaturated and images come out overly bright. There is some manual control in the camera app, and adjusting ISO can help with the brightness, but that takes a bit of work, which is not what I want in a phone camera. Video is sharp and can be shot in 4K, but stabilization is virtually non-existent, and with 64GB as the only storage capacity, you won't be shooting too much of it. Like with the screen, it's a great value at $400, but don't go into this expecting a flagship killer. Now that I've gotten my complaints out of the way, let's get back to the good and the great. The battery life is solidly adequate. At 3000 milliamps, battery life is long, but not industry leading. I averaged about 7 hours of screen on time over the 6 or 7 charge cycles I had with it. This is partly in thanks to the screen being only 1080p and not 1440p. Another benefit of only running at 1080p is that the best-in-class CPU-GPU combo performs better than a lot of the top dogs that have to push more pixels. The Snapdragon 820 with an Adreno 530 GPU just flies on this phone. The OnePlus 3 also includes 6 gigs of LP DDR4 memory. This is more memory than my wife's MacBook Air, and as far as I'm aware, the most memory of any phone right now. 64GB of storage, a middle-of-the-pack camera, and an OK screen are the only real drawbacks I could find. Between USB-C, 6 gigs of RAM, and top-of-the-line silicon, the OnePlus 3 is as future-proofed as a phone can get. The design and build quality, as well as almost every spec on the phone, is as good as they come. Like I said in my tips video, the OnePlus 3 does not support Verizon in the US, so it won't be a keeper for me, but unless you have a 2016 flagship phone, the OnePlus 3 will almost certainly be a substantial upgrade over what you have now. The $400 asking price is more than justified and is a deal for what you get in this phone. Even with their most expensive price tag yet, OnePlus just made a steal of a phone. The OnePlus 3 is swinging higher than its price category and is going for the flagships. In doing so, they are mostly succeeding and in some cases even trailblazing. That was my review of the OnePlus 3. If you want to see more about it, please check out my unboxing and tips video, and if you enjoyed this one, please like and subscribe. Next week's will be a fun one if you're a gamer, so look forward to that. Once again, this is Jason with Maslin Tech, and I'll see you in the next one.